Good morning, pregame crew. It is Thursday, August 25th, 2022, 8:22 a.m. Eastern, 6:23 a.m. Mountain Time. Good morning. How are you? Are you doing good? How's your trading going? We got GDP in 7 minutes. GDP in 7 minutes. Jobless claims, that's every Thursday. So it's typically not a huge market moving event unless it's some big shocker with the number. But GDP typically is a market moving event. So don't forget that. We got Jackson Hole kicking off today and we got Powell talking tomorrow. So lots of potential market moving things going on out there. Audio visual check, Night Truck, my man. Thank you. So I'll get started officially in 7 minutes. I got some more soapboxing to do today, meaning that I have just a few trading lessons to go over that I think will help. I hope it helps. I always hope that. And right now, I'm going to get started by saying hello to my friends, and then in 7 minutes, indices, commodities, crypto, movers, and shakers of the day. Good morning, Greg. ER, very interesting. Hey, Train Man. M. Night Truck, thank you so much. And Jonathan, we miss you. Hey, Matthew. Roger. Casey, did you eat that lobster po' boy you promised me? Hey, buongiorno, Carlos. Hey, Mal. Jessica. I can see y'all's personalities just by the way you post, obviously. And Mal, you have a great, you're so freaking funny. You make me laugh. Hey, Jessica, in the prettiest part of the whole world. Hey, Fortune from within. Oh, something happened there. Oh, sorry. It deletes multiple emojis. Hey, Diego. Hey, Paul. Matt, we'll find out, won't we? Bonjour, Roger. Hey, RJ. Mary, James, Jeannie. Hey, Lisa. Good morning, Matt. Joey, now let me go back up and see if I have any chart requests so far. Okay. Hey, Basque, Dominic, Bobby, Povilis, Joey, Trader, Satoshi, Surfer. Yep, you know it, Jessica. Okay, BA, let's look at it. $159.84. So it did fill the gap. So that's good. From a bull perspective, you want those gaps below filled so they don't act as a magnet to price. We are running into the 8 EMA from below. 4 hour, we're not extended. Hourly, we are. So hourly, we are extended. So be careful up there. But as long as the EMAs are below you on the hourly, I would ride that long. Yeah, Piton got murdered. Yeah, I just need to give an obituary for Piton, not a technical analysis. All right, CCL. Oh, and I have stuff to talk about today involving murder. So maybe it's on my brain. What's going on here? Watching too many crime documentaries. CCL had a big pop and drop, big upper wick of profit taking yesterday on the daily. 4 hour is trying. Hourly is overbought. Above 1029, your next resistance is up in the 1050 area. As long as these 15-minute and hourly EMAs are below you, I would stay in long. Your support, $10.15, $10 psychological, then $9.96. Right, let's do the obituary for Piton. Rest in peace. Piton had a big miss. It just continues to get hammered. But we're not in black dirt breakdown up here. Your support, 1078. What did we hit this morning? We got a double bottom at 1105. That's pretty good that it's holding this support, actually. That's pretty impressive considering this big old miss. I would just totally ignore this candle here of broker openings, and I would call this a possible bear flag on the 15-minute. You're welcome, James. Okay, GDP, let's get to ES. I'm just going to stop real quick on the chart request. I'm going to go to ES to make sure you have your levels ready for GDP for your futures traders that are ninjas. In order to trade an economic reaction, you need to be a ninja, meaning a consistently profitable trader. And if you're not one, don't trade them. It's just a good way to give Mr. Market all of your money. And I made this tweet this morning. When folks insist on getting to the bottom of fundamental questions regarding the economy or various sectors, I've seen so many posts this morning. Well, is this the revised GDP or is this the blah, blah, blah? I mean, just go back to school, get your econ degree, go be a Jerome Powell Jr. But until then, those questions, again, are exercises in futility and you're just wasting your time. Get focused in on price action and the money will follow. Today could be the day, Casey. All right. Okay, so our levels are in light gray here, 418775, your support 4160. You can see it looks like an hourly bear flag. So the bounce is pretty good overnight, what the bulls were able to achieve. The problem is this pullback that started at 2 a.m. my time, they retraced too much. So now an hourly lower high is the more likely scenario. So right now we're kind of set up bearish for this GDP number. J.W. Gacy doc. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. Yes, I get kind of scared, so I probably don't need to watch that at night. I will be going over ES futures, and that is the same thing as SPY. It's pretty much the same thing. SPY is basically spot price for ES futures. SPY does have a gap that I was noting here at 42122. 42122 overhead. We do have a gap. Bulls would love to see that filled. But let's go back to futures. Now I'm going to go to the 1 minute. I want to see what's happening. Oh my gosh, Mary, that's crazy. RJ, it's always a good idea to scale out of positions, especially as soon as you get into profit, scale out. If you read Mark Douglas's books, he talks about the 1/3, scaling out 1/3, and Dan actually did a video on scaling out. It just put your trade in profit and then your stop loss will keep you in profit. So always a good idea. I don't know what the number is and I really don't care what the number is. Negative 0.6, let me post it. And we were expecting negative 0.5. So we are just slightly lower than anticipated. Not bad, not bad. The reaction is not violent yet. So your support from overnight, 416025, we are breaking that right now. 416025, let's see if they can hold it. Let's see, it looks like they're going to get some convincing follow through. Your next support is down at 415275. Jobless claims. I don't think that was a big surprise either. ER, even better. I like that book, Trading in the Zone. It's my favorite trading book. But even better is go to YouTube. And he's no longer with us, Mark Douglas. God rest in peace, please. But he has some YouTube videos that he used to charge people for when he was alive, and now they're out on YouTube free. And those videos, just seeing his laugh just is so funny. But those videos were even better than the book. And I'm glad I read the book first so I can understand his concepts, but I strongly encourage you to go watch his YouTube videos. Okay, this is a nice recovery by ES, even though we broke that support, trying to bounce here a little bit. So no harm, no foul yet. Now this just may be a hurry up and wait for Powell tomorrow. Yeah, definitely muted response. Great word, Paul. Yep. Y'all ready to get started? Let's do this. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community, and we teach technical analysis. And what I do here every morning is I go over indices, commodities, crypto, movers and shakers of the day. And I sometimes give a lesson in the middle that has nothing to do with the current market, just an overall trading lesson. I've kind of moved away from that and just kind of bob and weave the lessons into the trading day. But today I think I have a good one. We'll see. And I type these notes, and I typically reserve these for TCG members only. But I'm going to show you this today because I need you to hang with me on the lesson. So TCG members, I will copy and paste that and put it in the room once we're done. If you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the link below in the video description to receive a PDF explanation as to what these yellow candles are. What are they? All right. Let's talk about ES. Let's go back to the daily. Now how many days are we into this? 4 days is forward. So we've been going over this every single day. ES has held the daily support. Nasdaq has not. RTY has held the daily support. YM has held the daily support. All of those things are still true. Nasdaq broke the daily support, 12963. It's holding the 12814 with a triple bottom on the daily. This could be a bear flag on the daily. But let's just kind of zoom out in even more. We still have potential weekly bull flags on the table on most of our indices. Bull flag potential on the weekly, bull flag potential on the weekly, bull flag potential on the weekly, and beautiful. Look at that lower wick that's forming. YM, potential weekly bull flag. So we still have some overall bullishness that's possible. Bears took over shorter term time frame control, but they're not completely in control. Let's go look at the 4 hour. This 4 hours, this is a nice bounce, but do you see how we're getting wiki up here? What was that jam on it? Wiki. We're getting some upper wicks of profit taking here at the 4 hour 21 EMA. And we don't have a guaranteed higher low setup, but bulls have made room for a higher low compared to 411075. Now let's stop and go over yesterday. How many of y'all took advantage of yesterday's pregame prep and did you kill it? I thought yesterday was a really stellar day. Not every day is clear. Sometimes I wake up and I try to put the puzzle together and it's just muddy. And yesterday it was crystal clear flow state. So it's not always like that. And we need to wait for those moments of pure clarity where we say, okay, this is the most likely scenario. If I'm wrong, I stop out and you just go with it. And yesterday was definitely one of those days. So again, we have room for a 4 hour higher low. Let's look at NASDAQ. We have room for a 4 hour higher low. RTY, a lot more room for a 4 hour higher low. You see how we're over the EMA, so the small caps are leading this morning. YM, not as much room. So YM is the weakest and RTY is the strongest. Sorry, Colby. It doesn't like multiple emojis. It deletes some of the spam bots. Sorry about that. But I did see your fire emojis and thank you. Okay, what was I going to do next? Let's go to Vixx. Anytime I look at the room, I totally lose my place. So Vixx, we had this gap up. We have an uptrend. Vixx was our biggest clue yesterday. I was banging the table, 4 hour overbought and a weekly downtrend. That favored market bulls and Vixx bears yesterday. Well, now we've pulled back so far, we're looking for a 4 hour lower high on the next bounce. So with Vixx, we're looking for the lower high and that behooves the market bulls. This is looking a lot better, a lot more steady. This is some nice dip buying with this lower wick. So your next resistance is up at 4172.50. Well, I just can't stand it anymore. I have to go to the lesson. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell y'all. Hang Seng, that's why I have my notes. Hang Seng was up 3.63% last night. I haven't seen that in months. Look at this. That is extremely bullish. And DAX just went a little bit more green. They're not as bullish. And Hang Seng is closed now. Look at that, 3.63%. So that was a very bullish day. I don't know what exactly spurred that. I'm not saying that we're going to have a 3.63% up day. I'm just saying that's a slight bullish tailwind for the market. Now let's get to our notes. Nvidia had a slight bearish reaction. It has me leaning slightly bearish this morning due to lack of SMH participation. If the semis aren't participating in the rally, we're going to have a problem. Nvidia doesn't look terrible this morning. Because you got to ask yourself how much of the bad earnings was priced in. Look at this little rising wedge we got going on. We had hourly inside bars earlier. Okay, broker open. We broke bull out of that. But we have enough room for a potential hourly high or low. It is my contention we need Nvidia and Semi's participation in order to get a bounce today. Okay, yesterday we talked about having evidence to take a trade. I was saying we have this evidence, we have this on JPM. So in medicine, they call it evidence-based medicine, where you have to have proof of concept basically in order to treat someone with a certain regimen. You need evidence-based medicine or you don't do it. You practice evidence-based medicine. We need to practice evidence-based trading. So I'm going to move from medical to legal. What if you were a prosecutor and you only got paid for the cases that you won and you got to pick and choose those cases? You didn't have to take every case that was given to you. Would you take a case of a suspected murderer or murderer with no weapon, no body, no motive? Heck no. Well, you shouldn't take trades without evidence either. So let's talk about an anatomy of a solid trade. JPM long attempt yesterday. Now, this could have totally gone the opposite direction. I'm not saying I predicted this 100%. Excuse me. But we had a lot of evidence in our favor that increased the probability that the trade would work. But we always have to accept all outcomes, and it could have gone just flat on our face. So yesterday, the JPM long, well, thank you, Carlos. In a daily uptrend, all right? We had that. Let's go look at JPM. Yesterday, we were looking right here. In a daily uptrend, we had this gap fill that was filled. We want gaps filled because they can act like a magnet, especially when they're right below us. And we had 4-hour oversold here yesterday morning. 4-hour oversold in a daily uptrend, sitting on the 50 MA, gap is filled, nearby support at 114.37. Price approach yesterday morning after the pregame show, it got to 114.45. I mean, that's like up on a silver platter, 8 cents within support. Risk reward was good. And then I was hoping for a 5-minute trend change. That was the one thing that didn't go perfectly. We got a 2-minute trend change, and then the bull volume ticked up. And it confirms the move, and market was also bouncing at that time. Market internals were favorable for a bounce. Look at all the evidence. You think we could convict that murderer? For sure. We had all the evidence, no circumstantial evidence. The only circumstantial evidence out there is something that comes from the outside, like Ukraine, Russia, Taiwan, anything like that, or Powell speaking earlier than we thought and saying something terrible, or old Bullard going out there and saying something terrible. That would have been something circumstantial outside of our control, of course. But we had all the evidence lined up. That's awesome. That's awesome, Slow Devil. Good to hear. Good to hear. So these were the notes yesterday. And I told you this part was the part that I was going out on a limb, looking for potential push down and reverse. Because what I do in technical analysis is I just want to give you probabilities. I tried really hard not to predict. Predicting gets you in trouble. You just say, here's the more likely scenario. Here's the higher probability. Well, yesterday, it just really struck me that they were going to push it down because of the way the EMAs were just sloped. It looked like, and we talked about it yesterday, those hourly EMAs, a look down below and fail, hit that support and bounce. And then when we look at it on the 2-minute, we got that 2-minute trend change, and then look at what volume did. You see how volume ticked up? That's evidence. It's more evidence that say, hey, your trade's working. Candle close above the 8 EMA, candle close above the 21 EMA. And if you go look at the market at the time, the market was more bullish than JPM over here. So then JPM basically, and XLF, I had both charts pulled up, was trying to catch up with the market. So that is how we should be trading. Do all of my trade setups always have this much evidence? No. Sometimes I take a trade based on circumstantial evidence. There are smaller position size, or even better, I just back away from the trade idea altogether. So I use my terminology, Queen of the Mountain, to denote, hey, this is a trade that I have a lot of evidence on. Doesn't mean, or higher conviction. It has a higher probability of working out, and it's still never guaranteed. But I try to point out to y'all when I have lots and lots of evidence on a trade, and JPM was that trade yesterday. All right, so that's the lesson. ES, despite it feeling improbable, we talked about a weekly bull flag is still on the table. And daily 50 RSI held. Wasn't that a good clue yesterday? Use your RSI, folks. Here's the thing. If you have RSI on your chart, use it. You don't have to use it. You could just trade with price alone and still make a very good living. But if you're going to have crap on your charts, use it. So on RSI, it hit the 50 ES. That was a great clue for us that bulls could take a stand right there, and they did. Hourly, I gave you the levels. You have them there in light gray if you want to screenshot it. Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, we now have an hourly downtrend. So that means that 4-hour lower high is likely set. Now bulls are waiting for the 4-hour higher low. So your resistance on this move up, let me hit it so you can get a light gray, 1308550. Your resistance support is 12825. RTY stronger than most. Let me hit it. Resistance 1960 and support 1909. We have plenty of room for 4-hour higher low. So if you are looking for a futures trade and you're a futures trader and you're looking for a futures trade, this is where I would be looking, is looking for higher low on RTY because of its relative strength. YM, look at that big upper wick. Now, is that a heart setup? Heck no. This thing doesn't have enough room for a necessary higher low. So that is not going to be a trade setup I'm watching. If anything, I would look to top fish this resistance up here on the next bounce. Resistance 33239. RJ on JPM, let's look at it. So 117.63 would be the next target on JPM, and then possibly 119.19. Actually, let me do this a different way. I don't like that way. The 119.34 would be a 50% retrace. It's just really going to be contingent on market strength. And right now, the market's pulling back in this hourly downtrend. So JPM may not have continuation today, but it has more room than most. And look what we ran into. The Great Wall of Louisiana, the hourly 50 MA. We ran right into it. Now let's go look at Apple for comparison. Apple was over it earlier. It's still over it. It's just the market broker thing, so it's still over it. But we are over the hourly 50 MA on Apple. JPM, we're not. So that could be a headache, a literal, no, figurative headache overhead is this hourly 50 MA. If you're still in, you're looking good because you're green this morning. This is a decent gap up. A pullback to 116 may be a buying dip. We're looking for that 4-hour higher low on Nasdaq, ES, RTY. So we may be bearish in the morning and then more bullish in the afternoon as those higher low attempts are made. Dollar, looky. Our diamond pattern confirmed to the downside, but bulls are bouncing. Now, a lower high is still anticipated on the 4-hour, but look at this daily chart. That's beautiful. That's a potential bull cup and handle here. Bull flag here on the daily. So the fact that that lower low didn't get a lot of follow through has me zooming out looking for a bull flag on a higher time frame, and that's bearish the market. All right, now let's get to Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like a rising wedge to me. So it looks better on the 2-day. And I shouldn't say better. I'm not trying to find what time frame suits my thesis the most. I'm just trying to tighten up the pattern to get clarity. And for clarity for me is this 2-day chart on Bitcoin. That is a potential bear flag. So you have this rising wedge over here, confirmed to the downside. And now these little bounces are not getting a lot of follow through. This looks like a bear flag to me. Now, it doesn't mean they ain't going to go bull crazy today. It could. The pattern is not set up very well for me. You see that? We got over 21810 by $8, then no follow through. Let me get some water, y'all. Ethereum is a little stronger. But you see that? Let's do the math. This still could be a 2-day bear flag. 1717 keeps a bear flag on the table on the 2-day for Ethereum. So this chart is not very promising, but you go to the hourly and you're like, oh, okay, Ethereum bulls, you're looking pretty good here. We do have an uptrend. We have support at 1693. So definite more relative strength in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. It's the 50 simple. MG, sorry, it's the 50, I don't know what I said, but it's the 50 simple moving average, the yellow line. And if you're interested in my chart setup, you can click on the video description below to get the PDF of what all these colors are. So gold. Gold has been bouncing well. What was happening during this time frame? What was happening was the diamond pattern on dollar breaking bear. So the metals bounced. But now that daily bull flag / daily cup and handle on dollar could be viable. So up here, oil is a short. I actually like this trade setup a lot. I did not think of this earlier. I would look to top fish a 15-minute lower high on gold. I think that is a decent evidence-based trade. Let's look at it. On the daily, we're looking for a lower high. So let's put into action what we just talked about. So on gold, we're looking for a daily lower high, and this could be a potential bear flag on the daily. On the 4-hour, no problems except for a little double top. We are in an uptrend. We're struggling getting over the 50 MA on the 4-hour. On the hourly, we've retraced too much on heavier bear volume. So 15-minute lower high is the more likely scenario on this retrace. And that, my friends, is evidence-based trading. So here I would look for top fish. And what that means is a potential short. And now I'm singing in the song Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. This is how we do it, folks. All right. Wait, I didn't give you support. Your next support on gold, 1768. All right. Yes, Michael, that is only for TCG members. Think about it, Michael. I do this every morning for approximately 3 to 3.5 hours. I do the prep and the show. And then I answer questions after that. So it's really about 4 hours a day that's free. Totally free for anybody on YouTube. And of course, the goal is to get y'all interested in membership. We want y'all part of our family. But so that's 20 hours a week I put into this for free. And then there are members that pay us very good money to be a member. So we shouldn't give away everything for free. Think about it. Dan does the market recap video. So that's the reason. I'm not going to say capitalism because I heard on CNBC, it's like the most hated word out there by employees and adults is the word capitalism. They prefer economic freedom. Okay. All right. So oil, it looks like a weekly bear flag. Daily is struggling at this 200 MA. So I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth today. So we're struggling here at the 200 MA. I cannot get super bullish oil despite this daily falling wedge that broke bull, despite it breaking daily resistance. I can't get bullish oil up here because of this 200 MA. Now, I can get bullish on a pullback and look for that daily higher low. That's going to be a beauty of a trade setup. So, but I still like Oxy and CVX. So Chevron and Occidental, I still like them, but they may have a hard time today with my trade setups if oil keeps pulling back. Oh. Okay. I know, Matt, right? All right, so on oil. And by the way, Barron was on CNBC this morning. I only got to catch part of it. That man is so smart, but he was so ridiculous bullish Tesla. And the last time he was on CNBC was June 17th, and he called the bottom of the market. And the market bounced from that point. And a lot of that was luck. but that dude is so bullish Tesla, and I think that has something to do with Tesla's bounce this morning in addition to the split. All right, so 95.53, we just hit 95.63 as resistance. 4 hour, this could be a bull flag, so I'm not super bullish oil up here, the 200 overhead anymore. Now, I did take part of this trade, this long setup, but it's extended, and we are looking for that weekly lower high to be set. And we got the daily 200 MA overhead, nat gas. Lord, it's 6:53, and I'm not even through commodities. Phew. All right. 4 hour is super sideways on nat gas. This is a bearish pattern and formation, and we have inventory today at 10:30. So inventory days are not the days to be messing around with commodities unless you're a ninja. Resistance 9.455, support 9.100. And what I see as happening is we just stay within this range until inventory breaks this up or down. And probabilities point to down because of the shape of this pattern and this exhaustion and this blow off top that we had. All right, Apple got over the hourly 50 MA. I would love for us to be bearish this morning, which I understand we're green right now, but bearish this morning and then do an uptick in the afternoon, looking for that hourly higher low bottom fish. Amazon, y'all, Amazon is broken for me. It's like I've been in a relationship with Amazon for so many years, been trading it for 5.5 years, non-stop trading Amazon almost on the daily. And we were in this very strong relationship, and then it's like Amazon just totally changed. So it's like I'm not in a relationship with Amazon anymore, and it doesn't have the same character, but due to this split. So I've been having a hard time reading it and being in sync with it like I used to be. So I don't like y'all care about any of that information, but I'm just saying I have had a hard time reading Amazon action. When I think it's bearish, it'll go bullish. So I just have a big problem with this gap fill, and I think it's just clouding my technical judgment. And by the way, that's one of the most important things for you in trading, is to have no ego and say, okay, here, I'm struggling in this area. And I'm telling you, I'm struggling with being bullish on Amazon with this gap below. So that is my disclaimer. I cover it every morning because so many of you asked for it. I think an hourly higher low pullback makes sense, but again, I just don't have a solid read. Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia is breaking bull here. It could be a 4 hour bear flag. And on this hourly, I had a rectangle drawn here for a potential pullback buy because of the size of that bounce. And then when I zoomed out to the weekly here, 16895, we're losing the support, 16895. That's a weekly downtrend. So I can't tell you, I'll step in and buy a bearish earnings reaction to the long side when we just broke the weekly downtrend. Now we have 34 minutes until we open. So things could change and it could get back up over that weekly support. So we'll see what happens. I trade options and futures primarily. So I would say I trade futures more. And then options, I trade SPX more than anything else because of the tax advantages. So I'd rather trade SPX over SPY, but it's 10 times the size, so you have to be more careful. But I prefer 23.6% tax rate over 40% tax rate. Ryan Rose, careful with your statements. Tesla's going to make new highs. It could, but you have to be open to all outcomes. Be very cautious of making absolute statements. Okay, we went over Nvidia. Tesla, looking good. Potential pullback buy to 29650. I don't like it up here. I don't like the upper wick, and I don't like it because of the 200 MA. We went over those reasons yesterday. That 200 MA has been tested and breached twice now, so it's a little bit weaker as resistance, but I still don't like it. And a daily lower high is the more likely scenario compared to 314.67. CVX. Okay, CVX. I'm just going to, let's see. CVX and Oxy. CVX had a rest day yesterday after the big breakout as potential pullback buy candidate. Oxy, same thing. So pullback buy. on CBX. Oxy broke bull over 74.04. I like a pullback buy on Oxy, possibly in the 74.04 range, targeting, let me put that on auto start, targeting 79.41. Do y'all see that? That's the 1.272 extension, 79.41. So I like that as a target, and we may meander on the way up there and not hit it with a straight shot, but I'm still bullish these two charts. And Oxy has the Buffett news behind it. Snow had a huge earnings reaction, so it's already breaking over the levels I had marked. But I like a pullback buy. If you can get a stair step buy on Snow, only on a pullback buy. Let's say you only get 4 bars, okay, on the 2 minute or 1 minute, and then the first bar breaks the high of that low bar. Put your stop below that low, and if it breaks it, you're out. But this is a very, very powerful move. When you have an outsized move, more than 2 times the expected move on earnings, most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, those gaps have staying power, and those moves have staying power. So they're going to be bears ready to tackle Snow today. Don't get it twisted. However, the bulls for sure have an upper hand on this name today, and I would also look for a 5-minute back burner trade. And then SRPT, if you've been around me for the last year or so, you know I love this setup. I love it. And it's a trampoline setup. Beautiful bull move yesterday. So today I'm looking for first 5-minute oversold for a potential long on SRPT. Now, NZ will be live in 1 minute. I talked forever, so I'm not going to be able to do your chart request. But I appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button before you leave. Give me a follow on Twitter at CharkAlLori. And if you enjoyed the show, tell a friend. Bring a friend next time. And don't be this guy. All right, you stop losses.